Well, drug testing is very common. It's an industry standard at most universities. If you participate in athletics in the NCAA, for instance, you would be part of a drug testing program. But there's a lot of reasons for implementation of the program. First of all, student athletes are role models on the campus, and we expect their behavior to be better than the average student. We want them to be somebody that other kids can look at as an example of how to lead a positive and healthy life. And to do that, that would require them to be drug-free. Another part of drug testing is to educate our students as to the harmful effects of using drugs. You see our professional athletes today, like a Josh Hamilton, who's in the news for drug addiction and alcohol addiction, and we know the harmful effects of that. We want to make sure that our students avoid those pitfalls through an education piece. And also, by having drug testing, it gives our kids an opportunity to say no when their friends are trying to get them to experiment with illicit substances.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. I feel like if you are doing drugs, I don't think you deserve to play because everybody should be healthy, doing the right things. That's all part of athletics and stuff. So.
I think it is a fantastic idea. All NCAA university schools have to have it, and I believe that the NAIA should implement it throughout all of their schools. And that is something that actually the Athletic Trainers Association for the NAIA has talked about and will probably very soon be pushing.
Know that we're going to test all student athletes at least once during their competitive season, and then after that they're subject to random tests from time to time. If a student had a positive test, it stands to reason that later on we'd test them again to do a follow-up on them to make sure that they were clean. But again, also with the drug testing, if there were a positive test, we'd make sure that the student got some counseling to go with it to help them steer away from that.
I think that is a fantastic idea. I believe that they do need counseling. How much counseling, I think that needs to be determined by a counselor. But yes, they do need counseling. The random drug testing afterwards, all of that needs to be done. I think it will actually be very beneficial, and in the long run will help the athlete.
I think it's a good idea. It'll keep people accountable for staying clean, I guess, especially because it's becoming such a wide known problem in all sports and all schools and even professional and levels. So I think it's a really good idea that we're finally implementing a drug policy.
The way it's written right now, if a student had a positive test, they would miss 33% of their competitive season the first time they tested positive. If they had a second positive test, they would have to sit out a complete year. And that's if their coach wanted them to come back after sitting out a year, then they would have a third chance. But if they had a third positive test, it's an automatic, you're not in the program anymore.
I think it's evident wherever you go. Yes, there's been some evidence around. Has there been anybody that could be convicted, or not really convicted, but anyone that could be found with drugs? I don't really know, but there's always evidence around. And it's really and truly, I look at this drug testing not as something to stop somebody from doing it. It's more of, I'd like to see it used more to help them I want to see them help them get out of the drug use.
I wouldn't want them to get caught like that, but I would talk to them and hope that they wouldn't be doing that stuff during the season to where it would hurt us in the games and diminish their play and hurting our team and not just that one person, just hurting the whole team as one.
Well, the implementation will be in the fall of 2012. But right now we still have an attorney that's looking at some of the language and fine-tuning.